you good? Okay, welcome to the FALCON student panel, number 2, I guess. My name is Madeline McLeester. I am the Tribal Climate Resilience Liaison for AHED. I'm a member of the Nahwahquaw tribe in Tucson, Arizona. And today we're going to get started with our first presentation on Indigenous soil amendments from our first 2 speakers, Brandon Boyd and Jeff Vele Jr. And Brandon Boyd is an enrolled Menominee and has lived on or near the reservation his whole life. Brandon is a College of Menominee Nation 2020 graduate in natural resources and is a continuing student in CMN's new Sustainable Agricultural program. This is also Brandon's 3rd year working on the Sustainable Development Institute's Indigenous Agricultural Research Program and his 2nd year being a lead intern. Woo, sorry, a little nervous. I've been in person for a while. And our second speaker, Jeff Vele Jr., is an enrolled member of the Stockbridge-Muncie Band of Indigenous community. He just finished his 1st year at the College of Menominee Nation, double majoring in business administration and sustainable agriculture. Jeff lives on his reservation with his dog, Kylo. Jeff enjoys being outdoors, gardening, swimming, fishing, cooking, and walking in the woods. So with that, we can go ahead and clap and introduce our first speaker.
So, my name is Jeff Vele. This is Brandon Boyd. Today we will be presenting our research project titled Indigenous Soil Amendments, a 5-year summer agriculture program. Research project done at the Sustainable Development Institute that Brandon and I myself had the pleasure of participating in this past summer. So right here goes the egg team from this past summer. Unfortunately, Brandon and myself made it to this conference here. The College of Menominee Nation is located in northeast Wisconsin. As you can see from this picture on the right, the Menominee Nation is known worldwide for its very lush and diverse forest. As you can see right here, is very well-defined borders. We have evaluated 5 different soil amendments, which we're going to detail in a little bit. And some of the soil observations we took for the soil temperature and soil moisture levels. At the end of every season, we kept seed samples, further observations, and future planting. The first 2 years we planted corn, the 3rd year we planted squash, the 4th year we planted beans, and this past summer we went back to planting corn. The whole purpose behind this research was inspired by Dr. Overstreet's archaeological findings on the Menominee reservation that indicated what the ancient Menominees used to help their crops in the garden. In findings, there were fragments of biochar and aquatic substances that indicated that the Menominee people used for fertilizer. Using what we know about the ancient garden beds, we used the same fertilizer methods to observe and report our own results with the crops we planted this year. In these pictures, this is Dr. Overstreet excavating an ancient Menominee garden bed with students and building a replica on the right. And then on the bottom left is the biochar and aquatic substances on the bottom right. To break it down, we wanted to get results from 5 different control methods, and with the 5th element being the combination of the biochar and the fish emulsion. So the rest of the fertilizer selections have already been a part of this project since it began in 2017. So these are the soil amendments we use. Biochar, and that's basically just wood burned down to a char, cold state mixed into the soil and spread throughout the plot. And fish emulsion, that's like a really stinky fish smoothie. And a synthetic fertilizer, and a control pot, which nothing was added. This picture here on the right, we have a biochar being made and spread throughout the plot and mixed into the soil by Dr. Frank Upkind. In this image, we have some workers spreading the fish emulsion in the correct plots. We didn't pour the fish emulsion directly onto the plants, but next to them. The ratio was made with 22.4 ounces of fish emulsion in 2 gallons of water. And the synthetic fertilizer was spread the same way with the ratio of 2 cups per gallon of 2 gallons of water. In this image, we have a field layout of our entire garden with our research garden in the upper right corner and our cover crops. And this year we used the bean screen in the shape of an upside down T in the center. Last year we used a squash screen, and the year before that we used a corn screen and other various crops on the outside. We set up 20 plots outside SDI that originally had 4 control methods that you can see in the chart illustration. However, we had also added a fifth plot that included both the biochar and the fish molding, combined like the Asian gardens had. The example here shows how each plot is designed and flagged according to color to help us distinguish between the color results of each according to the temperature and moisture level results and how well the crops were produced. We've always tried to plant in the middle to late May period, and here are a couple images from our planting days from this year. We planted 4 rows of corn in each plot and 4 rows of beans in each plot in our bean screen. Some of the things we documented this summer are the temperature and moisture levels of the soil. Picture here is our thermometers, just like any thermometer you can find in any household kitchen, and a TDR soil moisture meter, which unfortunately broke down on us early in the summer, so we were without it. We were without it for most of the summer. But we have data from past years. We took data from both at 2 different depths, 2 inches and 4 inches for the temperature, and 3 inches and 6 inches for the moisture. We will then put the data in our database and compare it to the past years, so we will then be able to identify any anomalies or patterns. We also took soil samples to identify nitrogen, nutrients, and other microbial activity.
Okay, now that we are at the end of our 5-year research project, we are looking at how the different soil amendments have changed the soil properties. We are looking at microbial as well as chemical and physical properties. So we are analyzing each plot for not only pH and nitrogen and potentially mineralizing nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, soil organic matter, and some different forms of carbon. One example of active carbon, which is a measurement of how many carbons are out for microbes to use. What is really exciting for us is also looking at the microbial activity in the soil. So looking at not only respiration, which is a measurement of microbial activity, but also doing some analysis to look at abundance and diversity of bacteria and fungi in these plots. We hypothesize that ancient amendment biochar and fish in these systems will have a dramatic impact on those microbial communities. And we're also expecting biochar to potentially have an impact on water retention. So we will be running a test to see how much plant available water is in each one of these plots versus its amendments to see if biochar is helping to improve the productivity of the sandy soils we have on campus. Okay, here goes a graph of the soil pH. The soil pH was significantly different among the treatments. The biochar significantly raised the pH above the control. And here goes a graph of our potassium. The significant difference among these, among the means for potassium shows that biochar raised the potassium above the control. The use of 9-23-30 in our synthetic fertilizer was far above the needs of potassium for our crops. And although this looks exciting, there was no significant difference among the treatments. The squash borers attacked the plants unevenly, further reducing our confidence in the results. The bean yields were also not significantly different, although this is close to the Wisconsin average and good for an heirloom variety. For this year, we are waiting for the results of the corn, but we are expecting the results to be similar to previous years. Okay, here goes our corn screen from 2020. We planted 60 different varieties of corn, and we took the varieties of corn from South America, Middle America, United States, all the way up to Canada, so we had a big variety of corn. Here goes some of the data that we collected for those varieties. We identified 10 for further research. We also saw a range of performance and parameters we evaluated for the squash. Some appeared to be promising for further research, and several were noted as being delicious by our taste tester. For our bean screen this past year, we are currently shelling our beans, but we are very excited that some of them are showing very good nodulation. This may imply that they have better ability to fix nitrogen. Okay, acknowledgements. We had a lot of help during this project, so I'd like to say thank you to Dr. Frank Kutka and Dr. Jamie Patton for all their help. I would also like to thank Rebecca Ehler, the sustainability coordinator, and Chris Caldwell, who is now the president of CMN. He was the director of SDI at the time, from the start of this project. So those two were here for every step of the way. I'd also like to thank Adam Schultz and Dolly Potts, who were the original interns on this project, and they started it. So with that, I'd like to say thank you, and thank you all for listening. And
can you explain about the screen?
yeah, okay. So let me go back to the slide.
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, can you explain about the screen?
She wants me to explain about the screen. What we mean by the screen. Well, you can think about it as us being an employer. So we put out a managerial position and we took 60 different applicants, but we screened out 50 of them. And we took the 10 best to give them an interview. Those 10 best grew well in our soils that we have on campus. Anybody else?
You had mentioned that there was a lot of potassium in the soil.
Right.
Is there a benefit to that, or was there a disadvantage to that soil?
Well, we just used way too much, there was way too much potassium in our synthetic fertilizer that we used. So we used 2 cups per 2 gallon. So maybe you just use 1 cup in 1 gallon, or a half a cup, half a gallon. But it was, for the synthetic fertilizer we used was way too much potassium.
Did it burn it?
No, it didn't hurt the crops. It hurt it at all, but it was just, too much potassium in the soil for them to use.
Do you think it would have grown better? Yes.
I don't think it would have grown necessarily better, but yeah.
I'm kind of curious as far as, my question kind of comes from site preparation as far as off-season, after the crops were harvested. You said it was a 5-year study. The tilling methods, could you talk maybe a little about that? Did you till? Was it a no-till method?
Yeah, we tilled the garden after each season. We cleared out the garden. We tilled it back over. We didn't add any of the soil amendments late this season. Basically just May, June, and July is when we added our soil amendments. One more over here.
Yeah.
Did you notice any of the growing differences between the fish emulsion, the biochar, or combined? Was there any difference in the growing methods? Just by look, I guess, not so
Well, just by look, yeah, the biochar, the fish emulsion definitely were a lot bigger for the corn, a lot more abundant beans for our beans, and the squash we seem to have more of them, bigger squash, given the fish and the biochar crop.
I was wondering what your biochar was made from. A lot of times that makes a difference in the results that people get.
We just used firewood, mostly just hardwoods. Maple, oak. We stayed away from pine. Yes.
Yeah. So you guys mentioned biochar making like coal or like wood and burning it down. Is there like a correlation between that and like what we're doing to control birds to introduce nutrients into the soil and review control birds? Is that very similar?
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty very similar. Yeah.
Thanks for your research, great job. What is something that you learned from this research, or like your next step in research that, to expand this kind of study or something, or what are you looking to do next?
Well, we have plans to expand the SDI garden, so we got the whole other field in the back that we're going to expand and hopefully be able to give more of our crops to the local community and the food distribution in Kashina that we have, which we did a lot from the leftover crops that we had from all the previous years. We'd always open it up to the community and give it out to food distribution.
how you guys treat your soil moving forward? Will it have any effect, do you think?
The effects on the soil for our research garden?
No, as far as your methodology, what you use going forward with your crops, will you use some of these, methods that you studied, or would you say, okay, we want to move forward with this one? Does it make sense?
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to be using the fish emulsion, the biochar for future projects. Yeah, it's definitely beneficial. You know, we got the results, so it's very beneficial. Yes.
So when you did your fish emulsion mixture, was it like our local fish that you used? Was it a mix, a chemical mix? And then would you also replicate that same project in our forest beds to see if it would come up any differently?
Well, the fish emulsion that we used was a store-bought fish emulsion. I don't have a picture with us right now what it is, so I can't say, you know, if there's anything else added to it. But the use of fish guts and in gardening soils has been around for thousands of years from Dr. Overstreet's research. So yeah, we'll definitely be using that also. Thank you.